but to mobilize voters to go and register, so that when they vote for you, the better for them. And instead of relying solely on INEC asking people to go and register, INEC job is to regulate and register those who come out to vote, and not to go from your house to house or call you out to come and register. It is the political parties who wants votes that should mobilize people to go and vote. And the presidential candidate of the Labour Party and his group have done a lot of work in that regards, in kind of inciting or exciting people to go and vote. And PDP has also done very well in that regards, to also ask people, their members who have not registered, to go and vote. And I must also commend the APC, because they have also shown inclination to also asking people to go and obtain their PVC. In fact, the presidential candidate of APC was one of the front runners who began to say, people, go and vote. In fact, even at the time, he made a mistake by saying that it expires. That if you look behind your this thing and it has certain date or information, that it means you have to go. And even though that was wrong, but it's also part of telling people to go and vote and make sure that the voters card you have are authentic, so that you can vote. So this is why we have this increment. And 2023 is very consequential for Nigeria, and it's a make-your-mind election for Nigeria. And it's going to be a straightforward fight between APC, PDP, and maybe Labour Party. And all of them are making serious efforts to see that they capture enough voters. And they're looking at the youth population to be able to get these voters. And I know that yesterday was the International Day for the Youth, and Labour Party had a massive outing discussing with the youth and good governance. And I know that also PDP, I'm happy that the PDP Director General for mobilization and the youth is here. And I know that they also had a good outing. I tried to be there, but typical of African time, they didn't start on time, so I did it to the end of the program. And I just hope they step up to their program and understand that they are facing a huge challenges in this very election, and the youth, their votes will count, and nobody should claim ownership of this youth. PDP should be able to claim ownership of the youth.
Nobody should claim ownership of the youth. Yeah, that's the word of Honorable Clem Aguinyi, Chairman in Njikoka local government area of Anambra State. All right, going forward, Mr. Oladimeji, that's the Director, Atiku Campaign Organization for Youth and Events. Now, we want to talk about where you will be picking, or what you expecting from this total voters. We actually have had 10 million added to the 84 million that we had in 2019. Now we want to know, what are your calculations? How are PDP gearing up to clinch a large chunk of this total number of voters?
Well, thank you very much, Ekene. I think I agree totally with the entire submission of the Honorable here. I'm happy because there has been significant improvement in our electoral process. You can see the new electoral law, and then you can see INEC trying to meet up with the standards, and then responding to yearnings of the people about credible elections. And for me, I think that's a very good way to start. Because if you have an umpire who is not up to the task, you're bound to have issues. You can see that there has been a lot of improvement from where we started from in 1999. Even though we're not really in 2003, there were improvements as against what we had in 1998 and 1999 elections, and 2007, just like that. We keep evolving, we keep improving on what we do. So 2023 is going to be a little bit different for some of these reasons. The number of people that have turned out to vote, the youth, and then of course the awareness keep increasing, and then the parties are not sleeping. PDP especially is not sleeping, because we understand what this is all about. Yesterday, International Youth Day, we engaged very, very seriously various centers. Here in Abuja, we had one somewhere at the Yardwa Center, another one at the somewhere in Guarimpa, and it was very robust and across the country. So we're not taking it lightly, because we believe that for you to be able to, gain the reins of government, you need people. And the Electoral Act now has made it so important that you need to get people who can win for you. The era of rigging has been drastically reduced. We're looking at how the beavers will be 100% secured for election and all that. And I think INEC is still working seriously to improve on it. Was privy to an engagement where some CSOs that, review the workability, the security of the main, electoral tool now, which is beavers, how it can be significantly improved upon, and INEC is equally responding to that, thanks to the chairman of INEC, who is trying as much as possible to be compliant, technology-wise and all that. So this election is largely going to be run on technology, the deployment, and PDP is really going to respond to that.
Okay. Now, I still want to come back to you to ask you in terms of the area of the preparation. When you look at going forward towards this 2023 election, you discover there's a lot of pitfalls. ASU strike is still one of them. You understand? A lot of people are saying, we have ASU strike facing us, and we're talking about election, and you will not blame them for going towards that, in that direction. Now people are feeling like politicians are callous, indifferent. The approach towards this ASU strike and all that. Do you think that this ASU strike, if not resolved, will have an impact on the election?
Thank you very much. Election is a serious aspect of our life. The law provides that every 4 years election takes place to change, either to continue with the leadership or you change the leadership. So I would not agree with the fact that the politicians are the issue now, regarding ASU matter. Okay. ASU is the result of the failure of the current leadership of this country. We've had governments in the past, and there's been a way they manage this. It's obvious that this government cares for nobody. They don't care about the future of our youth. They've exhibited their lack of I don't know the word to use, the right word, but their lack of understanding of how this thing works. So we cannot say because ASU, yes, as much as important as it is on strike, will not do our election, and it has provided an opportunity for the Nigerians, mostly who are affected, the lecturers, the students, the families that are making their daily life from, because the value chain is so long. You can imagine just a university environment, a lot of people that make their living from there, even though they are not ASU members, not talk of the ASU members and their family. Does anybody care? This government does not even care how the children of these lecturers are feeding, how they are eating, how those people, the value chain is very long. They don't care about that. So it's a manifestation of the failure of the APC government. And then that should not be rubbed on every Nigerian. Now, let me tell you, PDP was in government. They had issues with us to resolve it. Why has it been so difficult for the APC-led government under Buhari to resolve ASU crisis in 7 years? So that's why I'm happy yesterday when the presidential candidate of the PDP, Atiku Abubakar, said it will never happen under me. He gave an exercise. He's an educationist. He had a school from nursery to primary to second to university. They've never gone on strike for once. So we need people like this who understand most of these dynamics and take us away from this hardship, this problem deliberately created by APC government. If they think that is going to help them in this election, no, it's not going to help them. Nigerians are tired of them. Our children are home, they couldn't go to school. Education is key to development of any society. And I think that is the third departure between this government and whether that is even coming with what the PDP is bringing in Atiku Abubakar.
Okay. Now, Honorable Clem Aguinyi, we have to ask you this question. The last time we discussed about the issue in the PDP terrain, now it's becoming obvious that PDP is having challenges in the South, going towards Wike's direction. Wike have actually come out in the open to, tell everybody there's no, that there's a problem. You understand? So no matter how the whole issue, was tried to be covered up and all that, but we seem to still have the same problem going forward. Do you see any end to this particular problem of Wike and PDP?
Well, let me put it this way. Politics is about conflict and conflict resolution.
Conflicts and conflict resolution, and this is the election. Next month is the campaign will be kicking off.
Yes, problems that almost all the political parties have their own internal problems. I pick up the paper today and I'm reading about plot against the APC national chairman. Some people want to remove him. These are conflicts inside the APC. I also have people that are also members of APC, like Baba Abashai, former SSG, and his Northern Christian groups, who are also saying, because of the Muslim ticket in APC, that they are not going to support a Muslim ticket. That is quite insensitive, and it's an assault and an insult on their own integrity. These are big problems in the APC. PDP also have their problem, and it's largely as a result of Wike's stance on issues, which is somehow understandable and somehow unreasonable in my view, because he contested an election which everybody was proud of him, that at least he was able to shake the table. And I know that PDP is on top of it, and they've been making every effort to make sure that these issues are resolved. Sometimes in politics you play tough so that you can get a good bargaining, and this could be part of the hardball, tough stance too. But I know Wike very well. Wike is a party man. I don't see Wike joining APC. To tell them what? That why is he joining? APC doesn't even have what to tell Nigerians. So where is he going to? And I know how Wike denigrated P2B. P2B leaving PDP were part of Wike and twisting PDP in the southeast to make sure that he wins the vote in the southeast and put in everybody in position in the southeast to be able to win the southeast votes, which he actually won. And that was part of the frustration why P2B jumped from PDP to Labour Party. So, I mean, and eventually he went into that race, and he nearly won the race. But God factor, maneuvering, he lost the primary. And like Atiku rightly said, Wike was also interested in becoming his vice. He didn't reject him, but he wanted somebody who he can work with, that has compatibility in character to work with. And having lost that, he's also upset. Now he wants something else. And I think the party should be able to put things on the table and make a deal, because politics is all about compensation, about compromises, and here and there. And I'm sure once those compromises and compensations are reached, Wike will be able to mellow down. And we have to also be careful about how we insinuate crisis in Wike, PDP, and all those stuff. Because I read in the social media and also in some tabloids that Wike has sued Atiku as a presidential candidate of PDP, of which 24 hours or 48 hours Wike came out to say that I never sued anybody, and anybody using my name is a criminal. It's not him suing. So the PDP issue is being resolved, and I will encourage them to continue to negotiate to resolve. It is not an impossible situation. It may be difficult to resolve, but it's not an impossible situation. But I know that it's a test of Atiku leadership. He said that he's a unifier. I want to see him be able to resolve the crisis in Rivers State, Wike. I want to see him be on top of resolving the Delta State crisis between Okowa and his godfather Ibori. These are things that shouldn't even distract PDP, and these are issues that should be resolved. And somebody told me that, why is Okowa making problem in Delta State? You are carrying an elephant on your head, and you're using your feet to
crush the ants.
No, not to crush the ants. to look for, what do they call it? In Igbo they call it aposu. You have a big elephant on your head, a vice president. You understand? So you must be able to reach a compromise with your so-called godfather and the other interest groups, so that the party can move on as one. Otherwise, you are selling off the election before you start. So there are crises, no doubt, but I think this crisis should be expected, and I expect also that this crisis should be resolved. I hate politicians who go to court to resolve their crisis, because politics is for politicians and should be resolved on the political table, in a political compromise, and not even by the court. Any politician that goes to court, I look at him as a fool.
Okay.
Fool for that matter.
Yeah, politics should be resolved. Politics matters should be resolved on a political table, and that's the word of Mr. Honorable Clem Aguinyi. All right. Don't forget that you can be part of this conversation by calling us on our line 081-822-22205. All right. I'll call it again 081-822-22205. All right, let me call our other line 090-3222-9797. I'll call it again 090-3222-9797. All right, I'll be coming to you, Mr. Oladimeji Fabiyi. Now, going forward, we have when we talk about Nwike's factor, and we can't neglect the fact that Nwike is a force to be reckoned with, in the South, actually. Even in his state, they measure as one of the top 10 in terms of voters, registered voters in Rivers State, and we want to call out the big the people on the top 10 list. We have Lagos. They grossed 7 million. That's the top 10 list of registered voters, the highest in Nigeria, the top 10 states that have the highest number of registered voters. We have Lagos State, and they gross about 7 million, all right? And we have Kano, they gross about 6 million. We have Kaduna, 4 million. We have Rivers, 3 million plus. We have Katsina, 3 million plus. We have Delta, 3 million plus. Oyo, 3 million plus. Benue, 2 million plus. Bauchi, 2 million plus. Anambra, 2 million plus. Now, this is where Rivers comes to play. They have 3-point-something million. That's a large number. So, what are you people doing to make sure, the PDP, your party, doing to make sure that you inherit this large number of voters?
Well, thank you very much, Ekene. Let me start by saying that I am not one of those who believe there is serious issue in PDP. And I've always said it anywhere I have a point to say.
Okay.
Yeah, we have differences, right? And these are clear. Then don't forget, PDP has been in a worse situation than this. And we passed it, and we move on. I believe this is one of those things. It will come and go. At every election cycle, you should expect some of these skirmishes, and then when they come up, the leadership of the party will do it. The leader of the party, as it were now, as of today, which is Atiku Abubakar, is experienced enough to know how to manage most of it, and he's doing everything that is humanly possible because he knows there's an election ahead, and then Governor Wike, to me, knows what is at stake. Apart from stake generally, personally to him, he knows what the things that are at stake. And I think at the appropriate time, he knows when to draw the lines. The party is so strong, whether PDP or APC. When the party is ready to move, they move and they get away with it. Wherever you are, I was not too small in 2005 or 6 when the PDP moved against Atiku Abubakar, the sitting vice president. The party moved against him and nothing happened. Everyone didn't fall. So, but it will not get to that because the party knows what is at stake, and the leadership, and Governor Wike himself knows what is at stake. Governor Wike is a member of the PDP. PDP has done a lot for him. PDP has brought him to where he is. And on the other hand, it too has helped the party one way or the other, just like every other of his, every colleagues of his. So it's the collective thing, and I don't think it's something that will rob the foundation of the party. See, PDP usually when they have crisis, like Oga said, it's always like I like into a house just on top of the roof, you know. And the moment you fix it, everything comes down. This is not. It has nothing to do with our grassroots. Yes, granted, Rivers is one of those with huge votes, but remember, APC is going to take its chunk. Other parties are going to take their chunk too. So that 3 million voters are not just for PDP alone. So other parties equally have a stake in it. So, but what we want is PDP to take the majority share, and then I think
they took the majority share in 2019. That's where
we'll do that. We'll do it again in 2023.
All right, yes. We'll do it again in 2023. That's the word of Mr. Oladimeji Fabiyi. He's actually the director, Atiku Campaign Organization for Youths and Events. All right, we'll be going on a short break, but before we go on our little short break, we want to discuss when we return. Want to discuss the issue of Festus Keyamo. You know, the way he lambasted your principal. That Peter Obi is better off than him. But that's when we return from this short break. I will be taking this lovely song from Two-Face Idibia. He called this one Raindrops. We'll be right back. Very lovely song from Two-Face Dibia, Raindrops. Yeah, raindrops actually fall in our country, and so that every land, every dry land will become soft for us to cultivate. All right. All right, welcome back from that musical short break. Before we went on that short break, we were talking about the statements, the utterances of the Minister of State for Labor and Employment, talking about Festus Keyamo, what he said about your principal, Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, the presidential flag bearer of People's Democratic Party. He said, and I quote, he said that P2B is better off, that your principal has not in any point in time been able to dispense leadership in any point in time. Do you believe in what he said?
First and foremost, I'd like to say that someone like me, I don't take Keyamo serious anytime I see him speaking. There's something called Janus. Janus has two faces. I liken him to Governor of Kaduna El-Rufai. Both of them have the same character. And unfortunately, Keyamo, I think, didn't realize the perception public has about him. You know, he should have stayed in his law where he's doing well than coming to government and making a mess of it, also on national TV, talking. Anyway, he has to do the job with which he's being paid for. So beyond that, he said so many things, and in my mind, I said, okay, there's need to actually put this in rice perspective. He said about 7 things, you know, and I would like to discuss them here. Number one was that he talked about Atiku not having experience to lead. And I want to ask him, what was Tinubu's experience before he became the governor of Lagos State? What was late President Murtala Mohammed's experience before he became the head of state? And he performed very well. And today he's been adjudged by some people as one of the best presidents Nigeria ever had. What was General Gowon's experience when he became the head of state? And even after the Civil War, Nigeria came back without borrowing a kobo from anywhere. So when he talks in terms of experience, I don't know, experience can be bad or good. But what I know is that Atiku is experienced enough, because at times that when he was in vice president, President Obasanjo was traveling all over the world, trying to, remake the image of Nigeria. Atiku was an acting president who is really acting as the president, and a lot of decisions that have affected this country positively to today were taken. So in terms of, I don't know where Keyamo is coming from. Again, he said something about, because I tried to know them, he said that Atiku cannot manage, does not know how to manage talent or foreign talent. Who discover most of the people that make that government thick? Who discovered the likes of El-Rufai? The Garba show that this government is proud of now, who discovered him? Who discovered even Nuru Ribadu? Who discovered Charles Soludo? And a lot of them that have really helped. Look at what they have done. Who discovered them? It was an Atiku. I don't imagine. So you want to compare that to Tinubu that has his boys that are just there in Lagos, milking Lagos dry with him? Is that what we're saying? What have been their contribution to the development and growth of this country? Again, he talked about Tinubu raising Lagos IGR, that Atiku did not do anything. You know, Atiku has never been governor, and we know what Tinubu is doing with IGR of Lagos State. Atiku has never been governor. He was elected as the governor, but he didn't serve as a governor. He came to the veteran as vice president, and what he did at that time is there for everybody to see. So what has Tinubu is kindly done in Lagos in terms of, we know how Tinubu and his courts have milked Lagos dry. Then again, he talked about the development. Yes, like I said, there's nothing anybody wants to tell us. Place Atiku and Tinubu side by side, Nigerians know who is better. The perception, the way people see them, is quite different. So for me, Keyamo was only doing the job he was called up to come and do as a spokesperson. You don't expect him to come and be clapping for PDP
at the expense of Nigeria.
No. I listened to this other guy too, this former minister of communication, Ishitu, saying Tinubu's wife is a Christian. Then what happened? If Tinubu has capacity for that inclusiveness, why did he go for Muslim ticket? If you ask the wife is a Christian, he is a Muslim according to what they have told us. So these are the area. And for me, I think you can't compare them. When you say Tinubu pick Muslim ticket because it has happened before, MKO won on his name. How many people knew Kinjibe in the South? If Tinubu was that popular, he shouldn't have gone that route. So Keyamo should stop. He should try and redeem his image, because his image, the perception of people around him is not good at all, and he thinks he should do something about that.
All right, that's the word of Mr. Oladimeji Fabiyi, a PDP member, director, Atiku Campaign Organization for Youths and Events. All right, we still want you to react. Honorable Clem Aguinyi, the chairman, Njikoka local government area of Anambra State. We still want you to react on one of the utterances of Festus Keyamo. He said that students and parents should kneel down and beg ASU to come back. Do you think is the right way to go? The way things are at the moment, I think this is the right utterances from a public figure like him.
Well,
no solutions, nothing. Just they should kneel down. So,
like the former speaker has said, Keyamo is doing a job that he's paid to do, and sometimes when you lack words, you lack things to say, you begin to say nonsense. And governments are elected to resolve people's problems and people's issues. And right now we have a current issue of students being at home for more than 6 months and almost running into a year, a whole session lost. And the solution this government has is to throw their hands up in the air and ask parents to beg ASU to come back. Why are parents going to ask ASU to come back? Why is it the duty of the parents to beg ASU to come back? Why can't government sit down and resolve the issue with ASU? What is ASU asking for? The money ASU is asking for is not up to the money that the government claimed they have used to feed school children during the COVID-19 pandemic when people are at home. They should look for that money that is claimed that is expended and use it to pay ASU. The money that ASU is asking for is not up to the money the Accountant General of the Federation, and that is where the government has stolen. They should go and look for that money and ask him to bring the money and use it to pay ASU. What ASU is asking for is to make our education functional, because part of the reason why Naira is crashing is that Nigerian people are no longer having confidence in our education system. People are taking their children abroad to go and school, and when they send these children abroad, they are looking for dollars to pay for the school fees of these children, and it rolls into billions of dollars. As of the last check, about $12 billion are spent every other quarter a year to pay school fees of foreign students. And where is that money? And we depend on foreign exchange on the sale of our oil. And since the past 1 year, NNPC had remitted zero to the Federation account in terms of revenue. They are running at a loss because they claimed that they are using 64 billion naira to pay workers' salaries in refineries that are not working under APC watch. They claim they are spending $10 billion to import refined petroleum to meet up with the demand of the people, because none of our refineries is producing a liter of petroleum. They claim they are using 805 billion naira in turnaround maintenance of refineries that have refused to be turned around. They claim that they are paying 4 trillion to 5 trillion now in subsidy to cushion the effect of cost of petrol. Yet we can't still find the petrol. So these are issues. This is why the naira is crumbling. And I've also heard people say, Clem Aguinyi, he's the OCBN governor, and they've forgotten about the fiscal authority and fiscal responsibility that which is under the executive arm. MFL is not a magician. Monetary policy is not a magic. Monetary policy must correspond with the fiscal responsibility of the government. And when these are not there, you find the harsh economy that we are facing today. Forget about the global meltdown, the global inflation. But what is our government doing? We are borrowing ourselves into a pit, and we are still borrowing. We are not borrowing to pay salaries. We are not even accountable for the little that we have. These are the problems we are having in this country. So the government should be able to cut down waste, stop their corruption. This government is the most corrupt government in the history of Nigeria, and that is why ASU is on strike. And where I blame ASU also is that it is these same very professors that have make returning officers in the election that help to rig bad politicians into government. They help to rig this government into office because they are not honest enough to make sure that people's vote counts. So maybe they have learned their lesson if they are appointed again as REC, because people have said stop appointing professors as our REC. Choose carpenters instead to be our REC, so that at least they'll be accountable, because our professors are not accountable at all. Yes. They're part of the problem that this country is in today. Because you appoint them there, they go there and take bribe, and they put in bad people into the system. So maybe this is the lesson. But I think Keyamo is very wrong to ask parents to beg ASU to come back. The government should be able to respond to ASU's demand. That is my stance. Just like President Buhari saying, only God will solve the security problem in Nigeria. And I'm asking, why do you have the police? Why do you have the army? Why do you have the guns and everything? And you find that there is, either the government have refused to stop insecurity, or the government is incompetent to handle insecurity. And if they're standing by the way of insecurity in Nigeria, or standing by the way of students going back to school to go and study, they should be able to, they should quit. They should get out of the way, because this country needs to move forward. Okay. And I'm happy the day I read Atiku's manifesto that he addressed these issues of insecurity, education, and he says how he's going to resolve it. There's an important thing he said one time. I want to say it on this radio, even though you don't have time. He said that because of insecurity, he went to the president to discuss with him on how they need more policemen in Niger State and in some states. Yes. And he asked them if they can ask police to be recruited. And the president told him that, hey, the Police Service Commission and the IGP of police are in court over who will recruit policemen. And who appointed the chairman of Police Service Commission? Who appointed the IGP of police? It's the president. And you can't call them together on the table and say, look, we're having a security situation. You, get off this matter. Go and make a recruitment. And Atiku said very firmly, I can't be that kind of president that will be helpless to bring people I appointed into position to resolve a common issue of who recruit policemen into the police force. And I in court. A court that will last up to Supreme Court. And that means we are going to live with this insecurity till the end of this government, and maybe continue by another government. And what I'm praying to God is to give us a president with a firmness of character, clarity of mind, to understand their power as a president, that there are certain things that are intolerable and unacceptable. There are things we take to God, and there are things we have to solve ourselves.
There are things to take to God, and there are things.
Yeah, and that's the problem. Is one of those things that we don't need to take to God. We need to solve it. Yeah. And insecurity in Nigeria is one of the things we can solve ourselves in this country.
All right, that's the word of Honorable Clem Aguinyi. Now we want to talk about the last utterances the Honorable Minister Festus Keyamo made concerning insecurity. He said that insecurity is not peculiar to Nigeria alone. Other countries are still facing their own, but Nigeria, we are facing terrorism. Other countries they actually have their own challenges, but terrorism is a very huge insecurity challenge, right? So how do you respond to that?
It's still part of the unseriousness of this government, and if see, a number of times this government has told Nigeria to their face that we are foolish people. Like, we don't even know what we're doing. Because if someone like Keyamo can come out and tell us this kind of, shenanigans, and I'm just sorry for this country, because how can someone in his right senses come to tell the public that, yes, Nigerians, just like every other, yes, what are you doing to do? You came into this government by telling us that you're going to fix the problem. When you are in a position of authority, you are brought there to fix it. So you guys couldn't fix it, and they are still holding their head as if they're doing Nigerians favor. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. And for me, I think 2023 has provided another opportunity for Nigerians to really take that hard and right decisions. It shows that from day one, this government has shown that we're not prepared for leadership. And that's where we have an alternative in Atiku Abubakar of the PDP. He has shown that he has capacity, he's ready, not just today. From the one, he has said so many things that ordinarily, if this government were a wise government, he should have picked some of those things. And the ones they picked, they applied it very wrongly. The issue of NNPC on Bonley, they've gone back there now. The issue of Atiku will never be there, and the IG will be messing up. Police Service Commissioner will be, Commission Chairman will be messing up. He will fire them. He said, "I fired the IG. I went to Mr. President, fired him because he's not doing his job." So as far as we know, the security issues, all of us must come together. It's not something that you play politics with. More so when we have the issue of terrorism at hand. But this government has shown that they lack the capacity to contain it. Now, Mr. President, when he was coming in, I don't like to talk about him because I know he's on his way out. But we have to say so that Nigerians will not make mistake of repeating the APC government, because it's going to be worse even than this one if APC should come back to this government. Mr. President, usually, I mean, if we're to grade him, I give it to him that he does not know anything about economy, and that's why economy is failing. I give it to him that he does not know anything about infrastructure development. But if he should be graded on security, we should grade him A, Abi. So, but now what has he done? We were told
why should we grade him A?
Because it was coming from security. And we believe he should be able to do that. I just use that. We believe he should be able to do it. So, but I have a message for our Nigerian youth, especially because they are going to determine what comes, the outcome of this election. Now, I don't want them to just take everything any aspirant, any candidate of any party tells them hook, line, and sinker. They should please interrogate it. Interrogate it very well, because in 2019 the youth never interrogated Buhari. In 2023 and in 2015 they did not. In 2019 they still did not interrogate. And now we are going to 2023. Whatever any candidate, whether it's Atiku, whether it's Peter Obi, whether it's Tinubu or anybody, interrogate. Don't follow blindly. Don't follow sheepishly. Try and interrogate whatever they are telling you. Go back and dig into their background. Use your phone to find out who they are. Dig deep and know that before you take a decision. But don't do it on emotion or sentiment or because it's from my region. This is to the northern youth, this is to the southern youth, this is to the western youth. Don't just follow, because this is about your future. It's not about Atiku Abubakar. It's about the future of this country. It's about your future. And that's exactly what Atiku is telling them. Interrogate before you take a decision.
All right. I still want to ask you one more question about your principle. Yes. I want to ask you about some of the... Does he have any indictments, any criminal indictments?
I've not seen any. And he came out to say, if you have anything, bring it up. He has thrown this challenge more than 20 times. Nobody has been able to come up and say, this is what you have done. I've not seen any, and I don't think there is anyone, because if there was, he would have been there in the news. We are waiting. If they have, let them bring it up. He has challenged, he has thrown the challenge. Say, bring it up. So no serious in that. But if there's anyone, you can tell me. So I can take it from here.
I'm not the one. It's Nigerians. It's what we had.
So let's have it. He has left the government since 2007, and he's still living as if he's still in government. Oh, okay. That should mean a lot to most people. Let me tell you something. If there was anything, throw it up and let's see.
Okay, if there was anything, throw it up. Against Atiku Abubakar, throw it up and let's see. And that's the word of Mr. Oladimeji Fabiyi. Now, we want to come to you. We want to use maybe 1 minute to wrap up the show. We want to come to you, Honorable Clem Aguinyi, in terms of the youth capacity. In fact, in all these voters registration, they have a large chunk of it. Now, what do you think the pendulum will be swinging to in terms of, do you think the youths will be getting it right this time? Because they have the large number going forward.
Well, in 2015, the youths got it wrong. I remember quarreling with my son and my nephew about Buhari. I told him everything that he needed to know. And yet he went ahead and voted Buhari. And today he's the one lamenting. 1 year after, there was a bias remorse. He's the one lamenting about President Buhari. The same youths are emotionally going in one direction, or try not to scrutinize things and try not to evaluate every other candidate. And to me, it's another... I don't subscribe to people who have a messianic syndrome or telling you that they are doing you a favor by trying to be your president I want people who can provide solutions to the problems of the people, and I want someone who can unify this country and deal with the security issues and deal with the economic issues. Someone who have the precedent, who have done it before, and I think we have the candidate who have done it before.
All right, thank you so very much. So, can you respond to the same question?
Well, thank you very much. What Nigeria needs now is a president who can be our chief marketing officer, somebody who can clean up our debt that this government has run into, because the care is not taken. We are going to go into slavery. Nigeria needs someone who can
bring us back out of the rough,
secure us and unify us.
Thank you,
Nigeria
sir.
has never been this divided, and that's where Atiku comes in. That's where PDP comes in.
Thank you so very much, Mr. Oladimeji Fabiyi, Director, Atiku Campaign Organization for Youths and Events. And we have another guest. We have Honorable Clem Aguinyi, the Chairman in Njikoka, local government area of Anambra State. Want to thank you most profoundly, gentlemen, for being part of We Time with Ekene this Saturday morning.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Good to be here.
All right, Nigerians, we want to thank you so very much for being part of this morning's edition of We Time with Ekene Ezepue. Until I come your way next week, remain blessed, Nigerians. Bye for now.